welcome to my world. I'm, of course, Fred Caston. As you know, 7 nights a week I stream live over on Twitch, playing a variety of video games. The link to my Twitch channel can be found in the description below. Earlier this year, here in 2020, I made the intentions known that I wanted to go start playing the Nancy Drew games, and with the intent of trying to play all the games in order. However, some of the games, particularly the first 16 installments, as they were originally released, I have trouble syncing up through OBS for streaming purposes. So that kind of put a curtail in the plan. And so I went straight to playing the remastered version of Nancy Drew Secrets Can Kill, and which is the first game in the series. Needless to say, my experience with Secrets Can Kill was not entirely positive, as I found a lot of the puzzles in it to be too damn cryptic for their own good, and that even with a walkthrough trying to wrap my head around some of the concepts of some of the puzzles in it made no damn sense. I found that it was poorly optimized. It did not have a good frame rate, considering most of it, the game is on a static screen. So again, I was generally surprised at just how poorly that game ran. So when we had gaps in the lineup here this week, here in late October, was the question of, okay, what could we do? Because I have certain things I am kind of planning to do in as it relates to certain dates coming up. So figured, okay, let's go revisit the Nancy Drew series. And again, we went straight for the 17th game in the series, Legend of the Crystal Skull, which came out in October of 2007. So kind of perfect in terms of a game that's for October. Matter of fact, this game actually has a detail in its opening that it was best played in a dark setting with the lights off and so forth, because for the most part there are some Halloween and spooky elements with it. It's a dark and dreary and rainy night. Nancy arrives at a house in the outskirts of New Orleans and gets accosted by a gentleman in a skull costume, knocked out, and she wants to find out who this costume fiend was and so forth. So it definitely picks up on the Halloween vibes and match the season that we're in quite nicely. There are some things involving hoodoo. There are glass eyes you are collecting that leads to a big puzzle. That you're roaming around a graveyard at certain points. So it definitely lends itself to the Halloween season. This game does have two difficulty settings, Junior and Senior Detective. I played on the Senior Detective mode. And for the most part, I would say Legend of the Crystal Skull was much easier than Secrets Can Kill, because everything made sense. Every puzzle made sense in regards to it, that you will find the clues in the game and you have to decipher what some of these clues are, and look for patterns and things, and either looking for directions or numbers in some cases, or realizing what things are and add things up, or paying attention to in-game charts and realizing that what you're seeing in one room is going to lend itself to something else at some point in time. This was a much better, a much more smoother experience for the most part in comparison to Secrets Can Kill. In terms of how it looks, well, as you can see in some of the clips from Wednesday's stream that is playing up here in the corner, it is about as basic can be. It is a point and click adventure game. and it definitely runs a lot smoother in terms of transitions of moving from place to place. Some navigation can be a little bit annoying, particularly when you start on a puzzle that involves a lot of backtracking back and forth between the graveyard and the in the greeting room, um, where you're basically going back and forth looking for names and tombstones and well, not so much tombstones, but getting back to certain locations in the graveyard. In terms of how it sounds, this game definitely sounds great. There is a subtle kind of jazzy New Orleans style soundtrack of music cues that plays throughout the game. A lot of this game does have like a rainy sound effect and background noise that it's kind of fits the entire vibe of it. Does make you makes you wonder if Nancy got pneumonia because of how often she's running in and out of the house into the rain. So it's it definitely makes me chuckle in that regard. Now, this game does. If there is one criticism I have regarding Legend of the Crystal Skull, it is the bowling puzzle, and I really doubt we can really call it a puzzle because it's a glorified mini game where it operates on. It's kind of like a skee ball. You know, you take the ball and roll it and try to get into like the points thing, but in this case, it's skee ball combined with the whole beanbag tic tac toe game, but it's horizontal. It's horizontal as opposed to vertical in the context of this game. So it, it makes getting the angles and stuff even tougher for one thing. But even if it has more of a uh let's see, how can I put it, a right now gaming or random number generation type element as regards to how the projectile moves and ricochets. Like you can perfectly position or get the angle and angle it the same way twice, but the result is going to be different, and so you're hoping that everything goes the way one would one would expect it would when you start noticing some patterns. But there is a great inconsistency with it that made it the most frustrating experience with this within this game. It was the one puzzle that took way too damn long to finish. There's a reason why on my Twitter and Instagram, and also in this week's highlights, it's going to be the clip representing this game as the best moment is me finishing that puzzle because it was so tedious, and it, if anything, it did not fit the overall context of every other puzzle in the game, because it was something that revolved entirely around random chance and a physical mechanic within the game that wasn't quite programmed well. That's the best way I can put it. Um, because it's you have to flip all these 9 things over to they all match a particular image, but you got to hit them all twice. So to get it to the correct image, and so one slightly bad angle, allegedly bad angle, or too much force put behind the projectile means you could end up losing whatever progress you made, and so it just it damn near broke me, for lack of a better term. Now, with a title like Legend of the Crystal Skull, yes, it is revolving around the same object that was the plot element of Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Matter of fact, a lot of things that was said in that movie and that we saw in that movie is kind of represented in this game in regards to the myths and legends surrounding the Crystal Skull, and that, okay, wondering how were these objects made when even the most modern day of equipment couldn't make these incredible artistic skulls, and that the theory is like, oh, they have supernatural powers, or that they were put here by aliens, and you got to collect all 13, bring them together, and the secrets of the universe and so forth will be told to you, and so it's kind of a funny little thing there. It definitely, again, it's a nice plot, MacGuffin to justify the mystery that takes place, but it's really almost inconsequential. But there is some ambiguity left open in regards to, was the crystal skull real or not, because there is a result that a clue that you come across that indicates that it's that the skull that you end up finding is a fake. But there is, again, the whole question of, and a spoiler warning here, that your indication that the clue that you found that's saying it was a fake, you told that the clue itself was a fake, and that it's possibly real. So there is a big conundrum, a big question as to what the whole intent here is regarding the Crystal Skull, and is this game leaving it entirely up in doubt or up into interpretation to the player? So, is what it is there. In terms of recommending, I do recommend you play this game a lot more than I would if playing Secrets Can Kill. Again, nothing but positives for the most part, with the exception of one particular puzzle. And again, that puzzle is a glorified minigame. So you can grab it on Steam, and then you can get it through Amazon as well, digitally, or even if you're going through Amazon, you might be able to get the a physical copy of it on the cheap too. And I'll leave a link to where you can get it through Amazon and so forth if you're interested in it, in the description below. So till next time, my friends, and you are my friends. Have yourselves a great day, great night, and so forth. Tighten your friendship bracelets. Stay safe if you're heading outside. And in case you can't tell by the way I am dressed and the background being different this week, happy Halloween. See you next time, folks.